Hello everyone, sorry for the delay here, but I'm in the process of moving, so won't have as much fun stuff in here graphic wise, but getting something out until I can get settled. So I'm going to go ahead and do a block 1 recap and then kind of preview what's going on in block 2 as I try to catch up here. So starting with the Cup, first things first, in the Northwest bracket, Bama advances, beating Temple on the road 17-0. Vanderbilt at home beats Illinois 20-17 to advance. And we suffer our first loss in the Cup as a conference as Kentucky takes a sim loss to Clemson. So in the Northwest bracket, 2 of 3 advance. Going to the Southwest bracket, we got Ole Miss taking a sim win at Ball State, so they advance. In a highly profile matchup, we got Florida at Oregon. Florida loses 14-19, so they're knocked out. I'm sure he's got other things more important to worry about than that at the moment. No best wishes there. LSU, as stated before in the previous video that I did, beat Texas Tech 23-17, so they advance. And lastly, rounding out this bracket, Missouri has a sim loss to Michigan State. So of 4, 2 advance. So far we've got 4 advancing to the second round. In the Northeast bracket, Arkansas, as stated before, beat CU 31-0, so they advance. In a conference matchup that does not, thankfully it's a conference matchup where they don't meet in the regular season, South Carolina wins 2017, so they advance. And obviously that knocks out Texas A&M. Mississippi State advances 24-10, beating Buffalo at home. And to round out this portion of the bracket, Auburn suffers a sim loss to Fresno State. So of 5 in this bracket, 3 advance. So for those keeping count, that's 7 altogether. And then finally, in the Southeast bracket, Georgia, as mentioned before, had a bye. And Tennessee advanced over Western Kentucky, winning 17-6. So currently, obviously, we're in round 2 of the Cup. But of the 14 teams in the SEC, 9 advance, not bad. And none of those matchups, or none of those teams will face each other in the second round, which is good. So, moving into round 2. We've got in the Northwest, Bama playing at Boise. And also Northwest playing at Vanderbilt. So neither of those games have been played yet, and I'm pretty sure the due date is Saturday night. So we'll see how they fare in that portion of the bracket. Going to the Southwest, we got Ole Miss at TCU. And in the other matchup, it was played. An upstart team here, one obviously I have to keep an eye on since I'm in the conference. Wake Forest advances by beating LSU 27-3. So LSU is knocked out, leaving Ole Miss as the lone representative in that portion of the bracket. Going to the Northeast, we got Arkansas at Penn State. Should be a pretty good matchup as Doc's events had a pretty good, some interesting games so far. We got Maryland and South Carolina. That game was already played. South Carolina advances, winning 20-10. So one of 2 teams to advance so far. And then, kind of awkward, Mississippi State playing Miami. So we'll see how that goes. I know Outrage is a pretty good player, new guy, so looking forward to playing. And lastly, in the Southeast bracket, both games have been played. Georgia advances, beating Oregon State in a close one, 24-21. And Tennessee loses to Nebraska on the road, 28-31. So far, the 9 to advance, 2 have lost. It just feels awkward. Had a good run, Tennessee, but I got a smile for Nebraska getting a win there. Alright, moving on to the actual regular season games. Starting out, we've got Bama winning 41-21 at Kansas. Yeldon and McCarron doing their thing there. And jumped out to an early lead and just a 3-headed monster on offense. Up next, you got Arkansas playing ULL. You can see there Arkansas defense playing good. getting some pressure there as they win 24-14. It's a close game early on, but Williams got going 133 on the ground with 2 TDs. Up next, you got LSU Georgia Tech. This one was circled on block schedule. They had a close game last season, and it took a late touchdown from Hill on the final drive, his second TD of the game, for LSU to get the win 27-24 to stave off the upset. Michigan at Texas A&M, right? Johnny Football, good game. 196 in the air with a touchdown, 78 on the ground with 2 TDs. As they advance, forcing 5 turnovers, or advance wins, 35-21. And in the lone SEC matchup of the week, first conference game, you got Ole Miss at Vandy, and swarming defense. And Ole Miss to start the game as they jumped out to a 24-7 lead. And Vanderbilt would make a comeback, but a kick return get called back, and that would kind of stave off some momentum as Ole Miss wins 31-20. And then you got 4 other games: Tennessee, Oklahoma State, the big one. Got Auburn in Minnesota, and Georgia State hosting Missouri. And then the players of the week. So I've got A.J. McCarron on offense, 11-12, 271 yards, 3 touchdowns, quarterback rating of 363.9. Factors of 3 there. On defense, you've got Gross, defensive tackle, 4 tackles, 2 tackles for losses, and 2 sacks. Nice to see a defensive tackle make an impact on the game, so definitely had to give some recognition there. And then on special teams, Cade Foster, the kicker for Bama, 2 for 2, and a 51-yard field goal for his long of the week. So those are the Week 1 players of the week. Go ahead and move into some Week 2 action here. Also, 5 games were played. So starting out with the big one, which I'm sure everyone saw, Oregon and Ole Miss. A close game back and forth, but a sack fumble would lead to a touchdown, as you can see there. And that would really get things going there. Tie the game up, or the game was tied to get that score. And then Oregon actually moved all the way down the field, getting to the 1 yard, or getting inside the 10 with 1 play left, and they got tackled on the 1. So Ole Miss holds on 24-17 after taking the lead late. Big game, obviously, in conference play, division play, South Carolina and Georgia. Georgia got off to a good start in this one, got a punt return by Marshall to kind of open up the lead 21-7, but Shaw would lead his team back and cut it to 3 with a touchdown to Rowland, but Georgia would be able to run out the clock. I thought would be a pretty big matchup there, a close matchup, didn't play out that way. Arkansas 35-0, went at home against North Carolina, which is close to being ranked. Defense really got after them there, forcing some turnovers and getting the run game going. You got LSU hosting Buffalo, a big day for the LSU offense as they put up a lot of yardage. Menberger, big game for him. Hill also getting some solid running on the ground, but Buffalo did have a pretty balanced offensive attack, and it was a closer game than you thought. A 10-0 run by LSU would help them pull away. And Iowa and Missouri, you can see Iowa's coach there kind of looking like, what the hell is going on here? And Mizzou repping the conference well, 28-0 win. Defense forced 5 turnovers and had a good running game to go with the balanced offensive attack, or passing attack. And then 5 games left to be played. You got Tennessee at Georgia State, Kentucky at Kansas, Auburn at Georgia Tech, VTech at Florida. Pretty big one there. I'm sure that'll have implications on big top 10 rankings. So, players of the week. We got Zach Menberger for offense of LSU, 11-13, 243 yards, 3 touchdowns. On defense, you got Chase Vassar, Georgia, linebacker, 7 tackles, 2 for loss, a sack, and a forced fumble. And lastly, also Georgia special teams. You got Keith Marshall, backup running back, a 75-yard punt return for a touchdown. And seeing how hard it is to get punt returns period for scores. Definitely have to make recognition of them when you get them. Those will complete the block one. That will complete the block one recap and then the players of the week. So congrats to all there. And even though I have the scores marked here, I'll get in more detail with recaps of the upcoming games for the current block, weeks 3 and 4. So South Alabama and Tennessee. Actually a surprise. South Alabama got the win 17-14. So look at that in the next video, which should be in the next couple days. We got Florida playing at ULL. Ole Miss at Oklahoma. A rough block for Ole Miss this time around. So they get shut out on the road against Big Mike 30-0. No shame in that. Up next, you've got this game. Louisville at Kentucky. So big rivalry game. As a Kentucky fan, wish you luck, Jason. Vandy at South Carolina. So another SEC East matchup. This Penguin's going to look to bounce back from an early loss, as will Steam with the loss to Georgia. So see who's going to be able to get a win in the conference play. Kansas State at Georgia. Chusker and Georgia riding high, and they continue their roll. They win 47-21. And then in the top three, they said, don't have as much time because of moving, so I can't really do the nice fancy video. But we got Bama at Texas A&M, so Bama coming in, both teams coming off wins. And really, Bama's defense is going to have their work cut out for them. Obviously, Johnny Football is a dual threat, so how are they going to be able to help contain him? And in Texas A&M side, you got the three-headed monster of AJ, Amari, and TJ. So can they stop Bama's game and try to force AJ to pass? And even then, can you stop it? So that's a tough matchup. I've gotten not convincingly, but definitely picking up the win there. Now, LSU at Stanford was my game number 2 of the week, and it already got played. Stanford won 26-16. Look at that later. And then my actual number 1 game in the league, maybe a little bit of a surprise. We got Auburn and Mississippi State. As you can see there, I mean, pretty much the overall rating is smack dab right in the middle, so pretty even. I like the way Auburn plays. Like I said, I like the coach's style. So they're the dark horse, and Mississippi State a newer guy. They'll give them the spotlight here. See how that game plays out. Moving to week 4, got 12 games instead of the 9. Got Bama at Central Florida, so 2 commissions doing battle. Bama rolls there, 48-14. South Carolina at Navy, and they got on the board. South Carolina did. 31-21 win on the road. Up next is Vandy at ULL. So again, Vanderbilt going on the road here, trying to pick up a win to get on the board. Up next, Ole Miss at Virginia Tech. So the runner-up, BT, holds a 31-0 win over Ole Miss. Ole Miss offense struggling a little this block, not being able to get any points on the board. We know they'll bounce back once they hit SEC play. Hellacious block there. Arkansas at Iowa. A close one there, but Arkansas picks up the road win, 27-24. We got Washington at Kentucky. Kentucky gets on the board, a shootout, and win at home against the Red Hot Huskies, 39-35. And moving into SEC East play, or a little conference action in general here coming up. We got Florida hosting Tennessee. So Wasted trying to bounce back from the upset, and Florida looking to get on the board in conference play. SEC West action, we got Auburn on the road against LSU. And LSU, again, same thing, looking to bounce back, but this time they're at home. And that should make a big difference in seeing how he played. Georgia Tech was able to be successful, might be used to at least have some exposure to what to expect against Auburn, so we'll see how that one will pan out. We got Texas A&M at Northwestern, Swelly and Cynical. That should be a pretty interesting matchup there. Mizzou at Penn State. In the top 3 games of the week that I've got there. So Doc, obviously a vet. Lytez a vet as well. Usually when you have these vet matchups, they tend to be pretty good games. Penn State played Florida State close. So really curious to see how he matches up against Mizzou. I know that obviously Florida State has more speed, so it seems Doc's got a good hold of his team there. Number 2, Mississippi State again finds itself in the top 3 games of the week here and hosting the upstart Wake Forest, who's been rolling along pretty much so far this season. So seeing how he'll handle the pressure. The better team playing at home, but a team that's playing very well right now. So see how they handle stopping the rushing attack. And then the game of the week for the SEC, though it's already played, will be Georgia hosting FSU, and Georgia won 21-14. So Georgia is really rolling right now. But we'll look at that in the next block here. I'll have a post here later today, kind of updating what's going on and what to expect going forward. But I also have the PMs for those that sent games or predictions in for this block. So I've got those, and probably in the middle of season I'll update. But I'll go ahead and stop this for now and get back to you guys later in the week.